Call this meeting to order. All stand for the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thoughts, and speech. May we be open to others' ideas and suggestions and to see what is truly important. Unite us for the good of Sky Valley. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to have approval for the minutes of June 11th and June 18th. Do I have a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have on the adoption of the agenda, we have an item to add. We're going to like to have a motion to accept. We're going to put back the council remarks after the mayor's remarks on a 3-minute basis. So all those in favor of putting it back on the council remarks, they have a motion.
So moved. Aye, second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I'd like to have an adoption of the upcoming agenda with the approval of the council's remarks added into it. All those in favor of adopting the agenda for today, have a motion?
So moved.
Moved, second? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Under mayor's remarks, as some of you people know, we have a compactor that we had problems with. Believe it or not, somebody put in 2 mattresses, single mattresses in the compactor and plugged it all up. The compactor is not made for that. That's the worst we've had. Although we've had a weed whacker in there. We've had fans. We've had everything you could think of. But the mattresses did the job. That plugged it up good. And did you say we had it unplugged by now?
Yes, it is. I asked James and he said they were able to get it cleared out yesterday.
Good. So, please tell your neighbors, and if you see anybody throwing anything larger than what's supposed to be in there, please notify us. Because that's ridiculous for what they're doing. And so as the added council remarks, I'm going to start with Paul.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for coming this morning and being here. First thing I just added, I wanted to remark on something you just said. Great ringtone, charge! Ella, can we make sure we get the cameras working back down there on the barn that monitor that dumpster?
Yes,
Where
sir.
somebody puts 2 mattresses in there, we can take action.
Yes, sir.
I've got some thank yous to send out. Thank yous to the Bear Committee, or the 3B, Bears, Birds, and Beans. Barbara Kobacker, I don't see her here today, but I see quite a few people that sat with her at the meeting I went to. I think you guys have done a great job of getting out the message. And I think that's reflected in the number of bear reports they were getting. Is it, David? Are we down from last year, or, I know Highlands is, but,
We are down from incidents.
okay, good.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a lady that called and had a bear had gotten into 2 vehicles
Yeah,
because they were not locked. I had a call this morning, I've actually got to do a report on, as soon as this meeting's out, they left trash in the back of their car, and their car is
okay.
severely damaged, so.
So it's things we shouldn't be doing, they're bringing them in still. There was a good article in the Highlander last week about how the bear report problems are down with the police and reports in the paper and such. And this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Highlands Biological Station, they're having a speaker there that worked with the human-bear interactions in North Florida for 10 years. He now works for the state of North Carolina. I'm going to contact him to see about coming to maybe Steve a POA meeting and doing a presentation. But anybody can go to Highlands this Thursday. You can park for free at the Kelsey Hutchinson Founders Park, and there'll be a shuttle running starting at 5:30 p.m. that'll take you to the Highlands Biological Center. There's not much parking there, so you can take a park. I also wanted to thank Howard Becker and the club board members for charging and kind of leading the way on getting going with the Georgia Golf Trails brochure and the marketing going there. I think it's really going to help put Sky Valley on the map. Also, thank you on the 4th of July to POA for doing the duck race and providing watermelons. I know the duck race and the watermelons were both big hits. Thanks for all the parade participants that came out. Good pictures. Maggie, I don't know if you took those or here, but on the front page of the paper of our parade looked really nice. Ella did a lot of behind the scenes coordinating with bouncy houses, musician, and with Valley Cafe to provide concessions for after the parade. And last, thanks to everybody that attended the Comprehensive Planning Committee planning meeting. This is done every 5 years. It's required for Raven County and the cities to participate in. Our last one was done in 2014. There's some very key things that we achieved in that plan. The most important thing that I've seen is the installation of the Verizon cell phone tower, which is now provided in conjunction with another tower up on Alex Mountain. Really great connectivity here in Sky Valley. It's very important. We've heard since that Verizon tower's been installed, we've heard from different developers, several developers interested in coming in here now that we have connectivity. There's at least 2 different guys that are interested in reopening skiing and winter activities here in Sky Valley. It may be a couple years off, but by doing what we've done over the last several years, it's clear to them that Sky Valley is now back open for business. Okay, and that we would like to see that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Jim?
Yes, thank you. Glad to see everybody here today. I was afraid that with the rain, we wouldn't have anybody here. And the reason I'm interested is I want you to be aware that we're having a hearing, if this is correct, regarding the relocation of our polling places. And I'm interested in the economy, and this is going to be cheaper. I'm also a traditionalist who's lived in places where I've always been able to vote, within walking distance of home. Well, I'm sure we have to get in the car to do anything in Sky Valley, but that's fine. The point being that, one of the rights of democracy, one of the commitments to democracy is how we do our voting. The whole state of Georgia is going to a system whereby there should be no excuse not to vote because of the early voting and because of the mail voting. My concern is the folks in Sky Valley who work, who might not be able
Jim,
to get
excuse
back.
me, Jim. For, on item 10, is going to be.
Right. I'm
So
just,
let's
I'm gonna make
drop
a
that
point,
down.
Bob.
All right.
And the point is that I would like to hear from people on this subject and see if anyone else feels that the working folks in Sky Valley who don't get to come to council meetings, who may not have the same commitment to our community affairs, should be able to vote on election day at a polling place.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank David Spears and Steve Mason from the club for the work and attention to cleaning up the CBC parking lot with the club sand and gravel and what I call the Chia Pet. And I think they did a good job and responded appropriately, and they should be commended for the work that they did.
Mr. Booth.
Hello, everybody. I didn't know I was going to be doing this. I was kind of surprised, but some of you might have seen me out around fire hydrants doing some things. What I'm doing, I'm working with the fire department to flow test all the hydrants in Sky Valley. That's something that needs to be done every 5 years. It helps with our insurance rating. We have all those records. I'm about halfway done. We found 2 or 3 hydrants that had problems, but other than that, everything seems to be working fine. And hopefully I'll finish that over the summer.
For your information, this is the first, hasn't been done since when?
It's been 11 years, I think, or more.
So, and it's something that's supposed to be done yearly, so we'll, that's on the record now.
Since the full test, we do a testing procedure where you measure the maximum theoretical flow that each hydrant will provide. So I have to open the hydrants fully, which you wouldn't normally do, but that's, you want to find out the maximum capability of the water system. And all of that goes into your insurance rating when they come and do a survey of the quality of the fire department and everything. So that's one of the key elements that we did have a good water supply.
And I guess we saved the best for last, Mr. Neal.
Well, yeah, I didn't know we were going to resume it again, but I'm going to say I'm so glad we did, because you heard all the interesting comments and things that are being done that you wouldn't otherwise hear. So I'm glad we now have that option on our agenda to do our comments. And once again, I thank you all for being here. Yesterday, I looked at the radar, and I thought, my God, today's going to be nothing but rain. This morning, I look at it, and I said, wow, I see some little rain here, and then I saw a cart ride right out of the mountain. I said, that's why I love to live here. I imagine you all do too. So have a good morning, and have a good day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Department reports. Ella?
The department reports, we have the police department tax report and other reports as noted in your packets. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be glad to help you with any of these. Also, I'll just move on to the next item, which is National Night Out. Most of you have been getting this information on National Night Out. It is August the 6th, and it's from 4 to 6 p.m. at the City Pavilion. And we're asking that guests park at the chapel parking lots, and we're going to have transportation if you're unable to walk to go to the City Pavilion. And as it says, our exhibitors will be law enforcement, first responders, emergency medical technicians with the new innovations and technologies. And just to list a few that will be here is Scaling Mountain, Sky Valley Fire Department. They'll be doing vitals of life, taking blood pressure readings for interested parties. The Sky Valley Police Department will also hand out gun locks, and other items as we have available. But I'm just asking you all to come and support this. This is a national event. This is the first time that Sky Valley is holding a national night out. I've had the privilege of attending these in previous locations, and it's a very interesting event, and I urge you all to attend. And as I said, you will continue to get these notifications. And I would like to put a shout out to Maureen Platt. She has done an exceptional job of putting all this together and coordinating this for us. So I'd like to really put my extensions out to her for her hard work that she has put into this for the community.
Maureen, we'll give you a chance. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'd just like to add that it's been a privilege to do this and to work with the chief of police. This was his idea, and he's also done a fantastic job, as has Ella and her committee, of coordinating it. We have a committee, small committee of community members and contributors. Some of the people in the real estate business and others have been very generous, and we will have a sign the night of the event thanking our contributors. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Water departments on the truck bid.
And then we need to do number 8 first, please.
Big pardon?
Number 8.
Ooh, well, we forgot the most important thing for the people that's going up around the horn. The Knob Drive bid. Now I'll get back to you.
Okay, as you all know, Knob Drive has been closed, due to a collapsed road. And what I'm requesting, council has already done an email to approve this moving forward. I am requesting that council ratify this bid since it was done per email, since it was an emergency situation. And as a FYI, I talked to the contractor before I left the office this morning. He already has equipment on site and plans to get started in the morning. So hopefully he can get this done and be out of here within 2 weeks.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the bid or approve an email.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Water department now on the truck bid. Ella?
Yes, we put out for a new truck for the water department. We only received the one bid from Duval of Clayton for $24,490. I'm requesting that council approve this bid for this truck, and we're looking at a 6 to 8 week delivery on this, and this is something that the department really needs.
I'll make a motion we approve the bid from Duval as presented.
I second it.
Moved and second. Any questions? Any opposed?
Just a question, do we know of any reason why we only got the one bid?
I'm not sure.
I mean, it's a great bid, but
Yeah, that nobody ever followed up. They were acknowledged, I sent it all to them, I have my documentation where I sent it, so I never received any comments from anyone.
Yeah, I did some individual check them on the various dealerships, and this is right away.
yeah,
With the
it looks like a great price to me.
It is, yeah. And we look at the specifics on the package.
Then moved and second. All in favor of accepting the bid?
Aye.
Duval, say.
Aye.
Any opposed? So be. Now, consideration on the option to implement the changing of the voting location. We've had all our public notices.
I just have a point of order. Do we need to, this is for Doug,
Yes.
do we need to have a formal, time for anybody in the public to comment?
Yes. If you will
Would
recall,
you?
yeah, if you will recall the resolution that y'all passed earlier this summer, you ran a notice in the paper notifying the public that you would have a public hearing today. So if anybody
Right.
had any comments, either for or against or otherwise, they can make it at this time.
Okay.
Do we have any questions from the audience on the changing of this, of our polling from Sky Valley down to Clayton?
I'd just like to say it's a great idea. Those of us that have lived here for many years, after every election that was a little bit contested, and some of them were very contested over the years, the clerks got the blame for it all because it was so close. Now we have Tammy Whitnockmeyer to pick on, and she's great. She'll do a great job. I think this removes any questions that come up. I remember sitting at City Hall, perhaps you do too, and they said, it couldn't be, it's too close, it just can't be. And it was, there was always allegations that maybe it was favored to certain people, but now that's taken away, and I think it's a great, great thing that you did, so congratulations.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
to kind of add to what Richard's saying, I agree with you. And the other thing the county explained was that this will cut down any type of chance of a duplicate vote or anything like that. It consolidates it. We have an average of 30 people that vote in City Hall on any given election day, and it costs the city over $3,000 to staff that. The new machines that are being brought in 2020, we have to build a special room to accommodate those. So I think it's a great idea to put there. Thank you.
He answered my
Mayor, I'd
question.
also like to speak in favor of moving it to the county where everybody else goes.
Anybody else have any questions on this particular item? I guess if not, then we can vote on this.
Yeah, I have a motion. I think in your packet, there's an ordinance that I drafted, and the language in the ordinance tracks the language that was in the resolution that y'all have already passed. So you would have a motion to.
Have to approve that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance as written and presented.
I second that.
Moved and second. Any further questions? All right, I'll make a motion to move and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion's been carried.
And as a note to that, I did speak with Ms. Whitmire, and she will begin doing our elections this year.
Very good. All right, that includes the agenda down to the public forum and general comments. Any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda as a public hearing may speak to the council for a maximum of 3 minutes. The speaker must be identified by name, address before speaking. No formal action can be taken. Yes. Texas.
Yes, Lubec Lawton, may we come up?
You, wherever you feel comfortable.
Hi, thank you, Mayor and council members. My name is Lou McNaughton, and I live at 308 Sky High Drive in Sky Valley. I am new here, and I have a wonderful idea. It's actually, this is also, sorry, this is my neighbor, Sue Kanchala. She also lives on Sky High Drive. She had a wonderful idea that I think would be a great benefit to Sky Valley. That's a dog park. So if you don't mind, I have some notes that I'm going to read so that I don't forget anything that we had in mind. Sukin called the POA president, Steve Mason, who encouraged us to come before you today and convince you that a dog park in Sky Valley would be beneficial and an attractive addition to our community. And in my unofficial survey that I've taken, walking my dogs every day, I discovered that most residents here do have pets. Also, I've discovered that backyards are such a ski slope downwards that it's difficult to fence and also difficult to use for pet owners and their dogs. There's no place to walk a dog in Sky Valley. And the only trail here that's actually maintained and wide enough to walk your dog is the Mud Creek Falls Trail. Oh wait, none of this yet, hold on. Sorry, we're a little out of sequence here. So pet owners are forced to walk their dogs on the road, which is nice, except so many of the roads are hairpin that you barely have time to get off the road when one of their work trucks or someone is coming past. So it's a little unsafe, I feel. Okay, number one.
Sorry.
We did not rehearse this, but it's okay. So it's a little unsafe, and I want you to know that on Thursdays I volunteer at the community gardens here, and Mr. Underdown mentioned to me that we didn't need, and I think he was being facetious actually, we didn't need a dog park because so many pet owners walk their dogs along the golf course off leash, early morning and late afternoon, and given all the time and expense maintaining the golf course and the fields for croquet, I know that must have been a joke. But Highlands and Clayton both have dog parks. They're small. They're under 2 acres each. And Sky Valley residents already are forced to leave Sky Valley for everyday things like groceries, doctor's visits, etc. But walking your dog, I found, is something I have to do more than once a day. And the very best is an inconvenience to always be dodging traffic or having to go outside of Sky Valley to do this. Okay. Yes, wait a second. Where are we? I think we're actually now to 3. There are several areas in Sky Valley that are set aside for our children and grandchildren to play, and they're a great asset to our community. The swing sets, the number 3 and 4 and 5. There's multiple swing set areas, playgrounds, tennis courts, and of course the gym, the swimming pool, and the renowned golf course and croquet fields. But there is good news. I think we already have convenient places that Sky Valley may actually own. Okay, number 7. And that is an area behind the CDC, which is already maintained but not utilized. There's a walking trail that's behind the CDC that is part of a playground area too. The next one. Number 8 is the walking trail. It could be along narrow, not incorporating that walking trail, but alongside. It could be a narrow dog park. I mean, you could take any configuration. And beyond, okay, the next one, beyond the pickleball field, there's a parking lot, and just beyond that, I think you and I were talking about, Mr. Mayor, beforehand, there's a field that's back here for the very last one, that maybe we would have to talk to Mr., I forget his name, Mr. Merrill about that. But thank you for your time. Please give this some consideration. And if Stephen or I can help in any way to fundraise for fencing or for park benches, that would be something I'd be willing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Maureen, you up first?
I won't be long. I'm Maureen Platt, 95 Breckenridge Lane. I have spoken with the chief of police and also with Mayor McNair. I live off of Sky High Drive, and we're in the same agreement. It's a very windy, narrow road. we've all had experiences of almost having collisions there, because what's happening is, in the season, the traffic increases significantly. People are buying homes up there, or they're building homes. Thank you, when they buy them, they remodel them, and we appreciate that. But there are people working up there, and I don't mean to set blame, but I know the vehicles of the people who live there and come and go. There are other vehicles. They come down the road at a higher than usual rate of speed. The speed limit is 25 miles an hour. If you give the grace period, that's 35 miles an hour. There is no way you can safely drive 35 miles an hour on this kind of road. We have people that are in their very late 80s and 90s, still capable of driving. If one of those people gets hit by one of these trucks coming down the road, their ability to recover from a serious injury, I don't think it's going to happen. I would like to ask if we could take some way of trying to put up a sign, drop the speed limit, whatever you can do to slow down, particularly the pickup trucks. And the other night, Richard and Shirley and I were coming up there right in front of Betty Shepherd's house. Richard was driving, they were dropping me off after dinner, and this huge logging truck came down the street right in the center of the road. And I know he never expected to meet oncoming traffic. I thank God Richard was driving, because we had a very close call. And there's no place to pull over. They don't have, the sides of the road happen to be the ditches. So whatever it would take, I don't want to take more of your time, to please try to slow down traffic there. I'm presenting this as an issue of prevention, because I see some high-risk things happening. Thank you for your time.
Here comes the bear.
Here come the bears. I'm Jan Mason, and I live at 38 Pleasant Mountain Drive. If any of you go down there, we live next to the mud pit right now. We're going to be adding on to our house, and we had all our trees taken down. If you want to see what it looks like to have something clear cut, just drive down Pleasant Mountain Drive. There will be a building on top of it, hopefully soon. Barbara Kobacher couldn't be here, and she asked me to bring the bear magnets. I hope that all of you have been reading about them and are favorably inclined to get one and post it in your house, on your refrigerator, on your mirror, on your wherever. And perhaps if you know someone in your neighborhood who rents their property and may not be aware that we have these, we'd really like to get them out into any of the homes that are rented, so that the renters, when they come in, are aware that we have an issue and what they can do, and that if they see a bear, they can call the police. So I have these available. We had to pay for them. We couldn't get anybody to give them to us, so they cost us $2, which is what we're passing on to you. And you can purchase them from me today if you would like one or more. And they are also available at City Hall. So, you know, you could tell your neighbors, or you could go yourself and go down there and pick one or more of them up. We tried to keep them small. There's a number of people on the committee here. I see them. We worked very hard to get them succinct and small. And a lot of the people were like me, very verbose. So it was an editing process. I think they did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Mayor.
Just a quick point, I'm Steve Mason, I'm a member of the Property Owners Association. Just to let you know, the Property Owners Association did approve buying a second hog trap. I want to announce this formally in the meeting. David Edwards is in the process of ordering it, and we have the funds with which to pay for it. So I hope in the next 2 weeks we'll get you a hog trap and be able to donate it to the city, to the Sky Valley. And I also mentioned too, this is a collaboration between the club and the Property Owners Association. We've each funded half of it. So we hope that will take care with further reducing the population of the hogs in Sky Valley.
Thank you.
Lynn Becker, Downing Drive. Just a quick point also on the dog walking. Why not consider several small ones? I don't know how you define one, but have several of them around so that the dogs and the owners can walk closer to different areas of their homes and have less distance to go for just one. I think it's a good idea.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no other comments, I'd like to
No,
respond to the dog.
there's no comments on this. No formal action is going to be taken.
Oh, I'm not trying to do formal action. I'm just trying to give a little feedback to the folks who took the time and trouble to come and give a presentation about it.
Is there anything else?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to give Jim time on the floor to respond to the dog park,
Yes.
to respond to the dog park.
Okay, three.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to the council's attention. Very often, you don't get any feedback when you speak to the council, but on other occasions, we do. And just speaking for myself, Sky Valley, I don't know of any place where we can give our dogs a better quality of life than in Sky Valley. There are a lot of places where you can take your dog off leash and your dog can go out and be a dog. Not everybody has a dog that they trust off their leash. And that's one of the big advantages of having a dog park. Another is that the dogs benefit from the social interaction with the other dogs. They can run around together and have fun and not be any kind of a threat to the folks that are afraid of dogs, or if there are children present, or whatever. This also plays into a theme of mine that Sky Valley needs to update and add to the amenities that we provide for folks. A lot of people come in for the timeshares and don't know about all the places to take their dog. And so, that would be just another plus. Dog parks are a fairly recent innovation, and I think that makes Sky Valley more up to date than we would otherwise be without it. So I think there are a lot of advantages to this. So thank you for making this public proposal. Thank you.
And one tag to what Jim said, when you think of a dog park, it doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent place. I mean, you could build one somewhere, if you had to move in the future, it could be done. Sky Valley's obviously limited on property we own, and so we tend not to build permanent type structures on other people's property if we can avoid it. But sometimes if that's what's best for the community, that's how you pursue. Yes, Mayor.
All right, we're going to go into executive session right now for
Make a motion that-
litigation and to discuss real estate. I'd like to have a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I have a
This
second.
regular meeting and go into executive session.
Second.
Point of order, do we need to come back?
Yeah.
And then adjourn?
The,
Right, yeah.
the rules and second, all in favor? Carried.
I move that we end executive session and come back into regular session.
Second.
Moved and second, come back into regular session, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, would you like a motion to adjourn?
I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
Motion to adjourn,
And it needs to be stated there was no
and no
action
action was taken.
No action.
Right.